Okay, so we're going to work with a few stretches that are going to be great for increasing mobility in your joints. If you've got a lower backache, you can help to stretch out the legs as well. Just an all-round stretching class. So we're going to warm ourselves into it. The first thing to say before we get into that though is, if something feels painful, just back away from it immediately. You can push yourself if it feels okay to push yourself a little bit, but we're not trying to punish the body, we're trying to work with it, and it will let us in and stretch as we go. And don't try and force anything, just let it come. If it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Okay, so we'll start off gently, just rolling the shoulders a little bit, and taking it in the other direction. Okay, and then just pressing your palms into the floor, sitting nice and tall. We're going to take a breath in and stretch up the right arm. See if you can reach a little bit higher, and then keeping both bum cheeks on the floor, bending the left elbow and stretching across to your left. And then we'll reach up as we breathe in and bring that arm down. And then we'll take the other arm up and stretch up nice and long. And as we breathe out, stretch across to the right side. And then lifting up as we breathe in and down as we breathe out. And the roll of the shoulders, and then we'll take that again. As we breathe in, see if we can stretch a little bit higher, a little bit longer through the side. As we breathe out, reach a bit further across still with both bum cheeks on the floor. If your arm's falling in front of your face, let's try and bring it on the side of the head. And we'll lift up and down, and again to the other side. If there's any more length you can find, let's find it. And then we'll reach across as we breathe out. Again, arm on the side of the head. And up and down on the out breath. Okay. Shoulders roll a couple of times. And then we'll do some twisting for the spine as well, as you go for taking that tension. So right hand just behind your back, heel of the hand close to the buttock, so it's propping you up. So we're not having a little slouch, we're just lifting up nice and tall. Left hand, right knee. As we breathe in, see if we can sit a little bit taller. And as we breathe out, pulling on that knee, twisting from the waist first, then the ribs, then that shoulder. As you breathe in, maybe sitting a little bit taller. As you breathe out, twisting a little bit further, and then we'll turn to face forwards. Other side, left hand behind the back, right hand to left knee, up as we breathe in, and twist it round. Oof, a little bit of clunk as we breathe out, and then the in-breath sitting a little bit taller, on the out-breath twisting a little bit deeper, and then back to face forwards. Shoulders roll. Okay, and then keeping your hands on your knees, we're going to breathe in and see if you can lift the chest up towards the face, shoulders drop away from the ears, so really extending the spine, and as we breathe out, rounding the back as much as we can, chin into the chest, shoulders to the ears, flex the spine. Breathing in, we'll lift up again. Breathing out, rounding the back, just a couple more of those with your breath, so keeping your spine nice and mobile. At the same time, giving your internal organs a good stretch on the in-breath, a good squeeze on the out-breath. Okay, rolling the shoulders again. We'll take the feet out in front of us and see if we can just grab hold of the toes and shuffling the hips and heels towards each other. And then a little bit of flapping with the knees, calling this butterfly, which makes it sound far more graceful than it feels, but just having a little bit of flap there. And then as you take your next breath in, let's sit as tall as we can, lifting the chest, giving your buttock muscles a good squeeze and seeing if the knees want to go a bit further out to the sides. And then breathe out, there's the pylori. Squeezing the arms, rounding the back. And again, we'll breathe in, sit tall. Again, squeezing those buttock muscles to open up and lengthen the muscles on the insides of the thighs. Breathing out, squeezing. And once more, breathing in, sitting tall. And breathing out, rounding the back. Okay, and then taking the feet out in front of you. We're going to go for a bit of a stretch for the lower back. Now, don't worry about how far forward you come with this. We're just working with the body as it is right now. So, pushing your fingertips into the floor to sit tall. And you've got a kind of square shape in front of you with your legs. Lifting the chest and looking forwards. Bringing your hands just in front of your knees. Again, sitting a little bit taller. As you breathe out, trying to take your nose as far forwards in front of you as you can, keeping your gaze lifted. If you need to have a bit of a shuffle around on the hips, that's fine. And if you find yourself falling down towards the floor, let's just push into the fingers again and lift up. And then Taking your nose a bit further forwards, walking the fingers a little bit further forwards. And then when you decide that you're not going any further forwards, you can let your chin come down to your chest, let the head drop towards your feet. And if you're lucky or unlucky, depending on how you want to think about it, you can either bring your head down towards your feet. But no need to strain. And then we'll breathe in, lift up, give the knees a hug, and round the back. Okay, so we've done our forward fold. We're going to come back to some twisting and stretching. Again, sitting up tall, turning to face out over your right thigh, and again, the fingertips pushing into the floor to find that length in the upper body. And as you breathe out, walking your fingers out in the direction your right knee is pointing. Now, pretty soon, your left bum cheek's going to roll off the floor, so let's try and press it down. Feel that stretch down this side of the body. You can breathe in again, lift the chest. Breathing out, going forwards, draping yourself, or starting to drape yourself over that thigh. And then eventually just surrendering and head drop. And if you want to take it a bit further, you can start to walk your hands round to your right and take a little bit of a twist, looking over that right shoulder. And then we'll walk the hands back. Sit up tall, and then we're going to turn the whole of the torso to face out over the left knee. So find that comfortable seated position, nose lifted, and walking fingers out over that thigh. Again, the opposite buttock's going to lift, so we'll press it down. Maybe start to see if you can shuffle your rib cage away from your hips. Walk the fingers a bit further forwards, and then when you know you're not going any further forwards, head dropping down. If you want to take it a bit further, you can start to pat your hands around to your left. Look over the left shoulder, and then we'll walk the hands back to our starting position. Okay. And then taking your feet out in front of you, hands behind the hips, we'll just flap the feet left and right a little bit. Okay. And then scrunching your toes and spreading them wide a few times. And then flexing at the ankles, toes pointing forwards, toes pointing backwards. Feeling muscles on your legs working to do that. And then drawing big circles with your big toes from the ankle. Looking for any crackles that are hidden inside. And then changing direction. Okay, and then again flapping your feet. We'll walk the hands up, bring the feet to the floor. And then taking your fingers around the right thigh, you're going to lift that leg up, point your toes away, draw your toes back and stretch into the heel, feel that on the back of your calf. Point the toes away again, push the heel forwards, and bring that leg down. Fingers around the back of your left leg, we'll lift that leg up, point the toes up, push the heel away. I'm hoping the bottom of my feet aren't really dirty this morning. Okay, hands behind the hips again. We're going to lift the feet up, push the feet forwards, and draw the knees in. And push the feet forward again, draw the knees in. Just a few more times of that, extending into the heels, knees to chest. Okay, and bring the legs down, feet extended, flapping left to right. Okay, let's bring the feet together. Looking down at your right big toe, we'll take a breath in and lift that leg up. And bring it down. Lifting the left leg up and lowering it down. And then just working, following your breath, lifting one leg up as you breathe in, down as you breathe out. Opposite leg lifted up, down as you breathe out. And each time you lift up, see if you can push that heel a bit further forwards to stretch the back of the leg. And then down. And other side again, pushing the heel forwards. And then down. And if you lift that leg up and it's a bit tight, you can always point your toes away and take a stretch off the back of the leg a little bit if it's too tight for you. Okay. So, what's coming next? So we're going to work with the neck a little bit now. So comfy cross-leg position, whatever it is for you, and just give the shoulders another roll. Okay, so for me, the neck is a classic place to keep tension. So we're going to try and stretch it out gently. Again, nice, gentle, steady, slow movements. So we'll breathe in, sit as tall as we comfortably can. As we breathe out, just turn the head to look out over the right shoulder. Now the shoulders can hunch up, so let's just try and drop them down from the ears. Sitting tall as we breathe in, twisting the head a bit further round if you can as you breathe out. And then we'll come back to the centre as we breathe in and turn to look out over the left shoulder. And see if you can drop the shoulders away from the ears. If they're all hunched up, we'll try and lift them clear. If you find any tension in your neck on this side or wherever you find it, try to draw your breath into where it feels tight and releasing, relaxing as you breathe out. Okay, let's come back to the centre. Just lifting the chin, looking up, and then tucking the chin in. Trying to keep the back of the neck straight, so as if you're trying to give yourself a massive double chin. And here we'll breathe in, lift up. Chin drawn down along the back of the neck. And then we'll sit up. Okay, another roll of the shoulders. We'll breathe in again, sit tall, and this time we're going to try and drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Now again, for me, I get really tight on here, so if that's happening for you, let's draw some long, deep breaths in. And as you breathe out, maybe letting the head drop a little further, but not forcing anything. Just be patient with ourselves. Again, if the shoulders hunch up, let's drop them down, and just having a little bit of time for the muscles to get used to stretching on here. Now I sometimes hear a bit of a click in my neck, because it's probably a bit tighter than your average neck, but we'll just wait patiently. And then because the head is a really heavy part of the body, as we breathe in, we're going to lift it up really slow, no rush. And as we breathe out, we'll take the left ear over towards the left shoulder. You might hear a bit of crackling in the neck as you do that, there's nothing to worry about. And again, just dropping the shoulders away from the ears, hands on the floor if that helps for you. Breathing in, maybe lifting the head just a little bit away from the shoulder and letting breath. And as you breathe out, dropping your head a little further out to that shoulder. And then gently, patiently, slowly bring the head back up. Okay, giving your shoulders another roll. And then focusing your attention on the tip of your nose, starting to draw tiny little circles. And taking those circles a little bit wider, and then wider and wider. And you will hear, or you might hear some really possibly disconcerting sounds in your neck, like ground glass, but that's nothing to worry about. Again, taking it as wide as you like, looking up, down, left, right, and then pausing, letting your eyes catch up with you so you don't feel dizzy, and then we'll change direction. Starting with big circles, and then winding ourselves down, back to the centre, and again, pausing. Shoulders up to your ears, and then back, and then crunching down. And then we're going to go for some deep stretching of the neck, so be patient with yourself on this. But pressing the palms into the floor, we'll sit tall. We're going to lift, start that again. We're going to take the right ear towards the right shoulder. We're going to place the right hand on the side of the head, and it's just sat there, so it's the weight of the hand. We're not pulling the head, we're just letting the hand sit there. And then with your left fingers, just walking your fingers as far away from the rest of you as you can. Sitting a little bit taller, and breathing out to relax. And then lifting the hand just an inch off the floor and stretching as long as you can into the fingers. And you should, or you may be able to feel it all the way down your arm, or at least muscles you don't normally feel. And we're going to work to stretch out the muscles in the neck and the arm because they're all connected. We'll take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to push the heel of the hand away from us. And then we're going to flex at the wrist in the other direction. We'll do that a couple of times, pushing the heel away, and then fingers down. And then drawing that hand into a fist and start to rotate from the wrist. And as you do all these movements, just noticing the subtle muscular movements that you can feel all the way down the arm into the neck. Okay? And then rotating the whole of the arm from the shoulder. And then stretching again into those fingers as long as you can. And starting to trace a semicircle with the fingers going back And fingers coming forwards and just noticing all the different muscular movements that are evident as we do it. And then hand down to the floor. We'll lift this hand up and ever so slowly lifting the head up and just comparing how the two sides of your neck feel. For me, this side's going to be a lot longer, so we're going to balance it up. We're going to lift the left hand up, rest that on the side of the head, left ear to left shoulder, walking the fingers away, stretching as long as you can into the arm, fingers spread wide. We'll take a breath in. As we breathe out, push that palm away, feel the stretch, and flex in the other direction. And again, pushing the palm away, and flexing. Hands drawn into a fist, so we rotate in both directions. And then rotating at the shoulder. And then tracing a semicircle on this side, so fingers drawn back and forwards a few times, just feeling your way in that arm, trying to find some length and space in it into the ends of your fingertips. Okay, we'll bring that hand down, lift the head up, give the shoulders a little bit of a roll and see if you feel a little bit taller than when we started. Okay, looking over one side and then the other. Okay, and then we're going to roll ourselves onto our backs. Okay, so for this, you're going to want either a snazzy yoga belt or an old tie or anything at all, dressing down belt, because we're going to use this in a moment to help us stretch out the backs of the legs. Before we do, let's bring the knees in, give them a hug. We're already stretching out the tailbone, stretching the lower back. If you sat in the chair all the time, you're going to want to do that. You want to take it a bit further, you can lift your nose towards your knees and have it all rock side to side. Okay. And then we're going to keep hold of the right knee, pull it into the armpit as best we can. This left leg is still working, so we're going to push that heel away. Just let the back of the body feel steady on the floor. And then taking a deep breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to tuck the chin into the chest, lift the head, lift the shoulders, and bring the nose towards the knee. And as we breathe in, we're going to roll ourselves back down. So on the out breath, we're rolling up each vertebra, lifting off the floor one after the other. As we breathe in, rolling back down one after the other. And as you lift and lower, well, if you can get your nose and your knee together, that's amazing. But if you can't get your knee and nose together, it doesn't matter, that's not the objective. We're just trying to stretch out the back of the muscles, the back of the body, the backs of the legs, as best we can for where we are right now. Okay, let's change legs around. Push that right leg along the floor. Toes drawn back, try to keep the leg on the floor. Deep breath in, as we breathe out, we'll roll up. As we breathe in, we'll roll back. And a few times with your breath, up on the out breath, down on the in breath. If you find that right leg is lifting up, just keep it pressed into the floor. And once more. Let's just let the legs rest on the floor, let the arms rest by the sides and flap your feet a little bit. And then we're going to bring the feet together. Arms into the sides. And we're going to stretch out a little bit at the backs of the legs. So warming up into this. Pushing your right heel forward so the right leg's a tiny bit longer than the left. And we're going to lift that right leg up as we breathe in. And bring it back down as we breathe out. So lifting up with control. On the in-breath, if it's really tight, you can point your toes towards the ceiling. If you want to go for something stronger, toes down, and bring that leg down on the out-breath. And it is working with your breathing. So if you find yourself doing some high kicks or can, well, we just chill things out a bit. If you think you can push the heel a bit higher, great. And if you notice this other leg on the floor getting a little bit giddy and lifting up, let's try and keep it pressed down so it's all happening in the back of your leg. Or maybe in the quad muscle as well if you feel it there. Last time on this side, and then we'll bring that leg down. Okay, let's take it to the left side. Let the right leg rest. We'll push the left heel forward so the leg's a little bit long, and then we'll lift that leg up, and bring it back down. Just working with your breathing. Left leg lifted up, bring it down. Right leg still pinned to the floor. Toes up if you want to take it a bit easier. Toes drawn back if you want to take it a bit stronger. last time on this side. Okay, and we'll bring the knees in, nose to knees, rocking from side to side, and then feet on the floor. Okay, so when we say right and left a lot now, I apologise for that. We're going to stretch out the outsides of the hips. So we'll have the right foot resting on the floor, left ankle resting near the right knee. And try to let the left knee fall away from you, so you're opening this hip. Toes on the left foot drawn back towards the knee. And then interlocking your fingers around the back of your right thumb. So your left arm goes through the legs and the fingers get squeezed by the calf muscle. And then again, see if you can make the left knee move away from you. As we take a breath in, we'll follow that with an out breath and drawing the nose towards the knees. And rolling back down away from each other as we breathe in. And just do that a few times. Now, you might want to focus on trying to get a toe in a nostril. That might be your thing. But again, like last time, it doesn't matter how high you come up, we're just working to where we are today. And you should probably feel a deep, satisfying stretch on the outside of your left hip. If you want to go a bit further into it, you can bring your fingers around the front of your right shin, breathing in, and then on the out breath, we draw ourselves in. Okay, a couple more of those. And then we'll let the feet float down to the floor, drop the knees left and right a couple of times, and then we'll do that on the other side. So the left foot's on the floor, right ankle near the left knee, knee dropping away on the right side, right toes drawn back, looking up. We'll take the fingers around the back of the left thigh, take a breath in, breathing out, draw that knee in, take the nose up, back down as we breathe in, and just working at your pace. Stretching to your level, trying to keep that right knee as far away from you as possible as you draw the left knee in. If you feel any tightness in that right knee, take it easier. Again, you can take your fingers in front of that shin if you want to. Join in, as you breathe out, releasing as you breathe in. Okay, let's have the feet coming out again. A little drop from left to right. Knees in towards the chest. Nose to knees to flex the spine. And then we're going to take hold of the belt. So, with your left leg resting on the floor, you're going to take the belt, centre the belt around the ball of your right foot. Trying to keep the head and shoulders resting on the floor, left leg resting on the floor, and holding onto that belt in such a way that you can keep your shoulders on the floor for starters. And if you find the belt is around the arch of your foot, let's just bring it up to the ball of the foot or to the toes, because we're going to want to do some very fine tuning with this stretch. And extending the heel as much as you comfortably can. Let's first see that the toes point up towards the ceiling, and then using the belt, trying to draw the toes down, just noticing where you feel that in your calf muscle, and getting a feeling for your biting point. And then we'll take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we're going to start to draw the leg towards the body. Now, it won't take long before your leg starts protesting about this, so when you get to that point, you just breathe in, we back off a little bit. And then we breathe out, see if that leg wants to come a little bit closer. Breathing in again, easing off, and using the breath to guide you in. So there's no point in trying to push yourself beyond the point the leg wants to let you. Your leg will stop you anyway, so the only thing you can possibly do is to bash through those defences in your leg muscles and injure yourself. So let's just be kind to ourselves and ease off as we breathe in. Draw the leg in a bit further as we breathe out, keeping that left leg on the floor. And if you feel like it, you can lift your nose up towards your knee for a slightly deeper version of that stretch. And we'll roll back, drop the knee to the chest, and then let that leg rest on the floor. Give the feet a bit of a flap, and then we'll bring the left knee in, take the belt around the ball of the foot, extend that heel towards the ceiling, get a feeling for the stretchiness in the back of the leg, belt again around the ball of the foot rather than the arch, toes up, toes drawn down. Okay, and as you breathe in, easing off, as you breathe out, going a little bit deeper. So, just using the breath to guide you on this side. Just patiently drawing in as you breathe out,
easing off as you breathe in. If you want to go deeper, we'll lift the nose up towards the knee. And roll the head and shoulders down. We'll drop the knee to the chest and let those legs rest on the floor. So give them a little flat from left to right. Okay, so now we're going to get into some stuff for the hips as well. So we'll bring the right knee back into the chest, taking the belt around the board of the foot again. This time, rather than hanging to one side with each hand, we'll have both sides in the right hand. The left arm, well, we can do a couple of things with the left arm. You can either take it out to the side as a counterbalance, or you can keep your left hand on your left hip, because what we're going to do is open this leg out to the side, and we want to keep the left side of the body absolutely on the floor. So before we go any further, let's check in with the left side. Feeling your left heel on the floor, your left calf muscle, your left buttock, your left lower back, and your left ribs. And how you can feel it now is how you want to keep it throughout. So either hand out here, or hand on the hip. We'll take a breath in, and gently let that leg drop out to the side. You feel a stretch in the back of the leg, feeling it in your hips as well, and just being comfortable in whatever position you can find yourself. Now, as soon as you feel this left hip or the left side roll off the floor, let's roll it back down. The thing we're trying to do here is just open up the hip. So we're not trying to get this little toe on the floor. You might find that, oh amazing, my toe on the floor, and then you realise that the whole of your left back is away from the floor. So let's roll it back down, keep it pressed down, ease off of the in-breath, and maybe drop it a little bit further on the out-breath. Now, if this is insufficiently challenging for you, you can start to bring the leg towards the shoulder or towards your head. Just easing your way in, looking for spaces you can stretch into. And then we'll take a breath in, lift that leg up, take hold of the belt with the left hand, take your right arm out to the side. We'll take a breath in. As we breathe out, we'll gently drop that right leg across the floor, carefully making sure we haven't put a wall right in the way. Looking over the other shoulder if you like, and trying to keep these shoulders on the floor. So if you find yourself rolling over like this, let's try and keep your shoulders on the floor. And if that means the leg doesn't go so far, well, that's fine, the leg doesn't go so far. If you want to go a bit deeper, you can start to pull that foot up towards the left shoulder, and just making sure this left leg is still working and pushing away from you. And then let's use the belt to bring ourselves up. Release the belt, bring the knee down, and then just for a moment, compare your super long right leg with your not quite so long left leg, and then we'll just lengthen the left knee. So, knee in, belt around the ball of the foot, hands around the belt, arm out to the side, checking we've got enough wall space to take the leg out to the side. We'll breathe in, and as we breathe out, let that leg drop gently, using the belt to support it. Keeping the right side of the body on the floor. If you feel it rolling away, let's roll it back down. Just doing your best to keep your right bum cheek on the floor. And if you want to draw the leg back towards your shoulder, you can, but nice and steady. No need to try and jerk ourselves into anything here. You can look out over the other arm if you want to, your call. And then we'll bring that leg up. Swap our hands on the belt. Left arm out to the side. We'll breathe in, lift that heel, bring it out, drop that leg. And again, keeping the shoulders on the floor. Feel that lovely stretch of the leg. And also that twist in the spine. And looking over the opposite shoulder if you want. Drawing the toes towards the right shoulder if you want. And then bring that leg up. Drop the knee to the chest. And rest the legs on the floor. Just have a moment lying in corpse pose to let your body just absorb the benefit.
Okay, so we'll do some more spinal stretching stuff. Let's come onto all fours with your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips, and spreading your fingers as wide as you can. Now if you find you've got sore wrists, you might want to push a little bit more into the underside of your fingers and also into the pads of your knuckles, just to take some of the pressure off the wrist. But we'll press down lightly so we're not falling down into the shoulders, and trying to start with a flat back, and then moving with your breathing. As you breathe in, tilting your tailbone up, letting your belly relax, lifting your chest, lifting your chin, and as you breathe out, back to the tailbone, pointing it downwards,
Round in the back, drawing the belly right up to the spine and letting your head dangle between your arms. And again, breathing in, bums up, chest up, maybe drawing your shoulders away from your ears to feel nice and long in the neck. And then breathing out, tailbone down, round in the back like a cat, having a good stretch after it's woken up, looking back at your knees. And a couple more of these, breathing in, belly relaxed, buttock muscles relaxed, head lifted. And as we breathe out, squeezing your buttock muscles, drawing in your abdominal muscles. So on the in-breath, we're relaxing all those muscles in the lower half of the body, the torso. And as we breathe out, we're engaging them. Okay. And then bringing your knees together. We'll do a little bit of balancing and stretching. So we're going to stretch back with the right leg, pushing your heel as far back as you can. And then looking forwards, lifting your left arm and stretching into the distance. Keeping your breathing moving, keeping your core engaged to stabilise you, and trying to find a little bit more length from fingertip to heel. And then we'll bring the hand down, bring the knee down, stretch back with the left leg, toes pointing down to engage the muscles on the back of the leg, and then we'll lift the right arm and reach forwards. If you find you're falling down towards the floor, let's push into that left hand. If you think you can reach a bit longer here, let's do it. If you think you can push your heel back a little bit more, let's do that. And then hand down, knee down. Okay, so we're going to work with a really nice stretch for the upper back. What I'd like to do is, and it just feels weird saying it, is keeping your hips where they are relative to your knees. So we'll start to walk the hands forwards, hips over the knees, starting to let the chest melt down towards the floor. You might be okay resting your forehead on the floor. If you want, you can do that. If you find you're lying on the floor, you've definitely gone too far, because we want the hips to stay over the knees, and we're trying to get a release, well, firstly in the ribs and the chest, but also in the upper back. Now, if you can go further than having your forehead on the floor, you probably find resting your chin on the floor is a bit weird and uncomfortable, so let's turn the head to one side for a few breaths, stretching into those arms, and then to balance things up, we'll turn the head to the other side for a few breaths. And then let's walk the hands back, bring ourselves onto all fours, not quite with the hands underneath the shoulders again, but almost, just a little bit ahead. Okay. And then we're going to take the right arm up, look up to that thumb, stretch as long as we can from your knee to your fingertips, and as you breathe out, bending that left elbow so you can thread your right arm underneath. Maybe you can bring your right shoulder to the floor, maybe turn to look over your left shoulder. And then we'll breathe in, lift that arm back up, stretch along the side, and then bring that hand down level with the other hand. Okay, time to go to the other side. Let's reach up, stretch up, up, up. And as we breathe out, bend that right elbow as we thread the left arm underneath, trying to stretch long into those fingers, looking over that right shoulder. And then we'll breathe in, lift that arm up, and bring that hand down. Okay, so coming to a comfy cross-leg position, you're going to want to find your belt again. We're going to have that handy. We're going to do a whole load of shoulder stretching stuff, because the shoulders are, well, they just can get pretty tight, can't they? So let's give them a little roll. And then sitting tall, you're going to lift both arms up, stretch up long through the sides, feeling long through the torso and the ribs. And then we're going to bend the right elbow, take hold of that elbow with your left hand. See if you can sit a little bit taller. And then we're going to encourage that right hand down between the shoulders. Now, you find maybe your chin's tucked down to your chest, so let's sit tall. And if you find that elbow's pulling forwards, let's see if you can lift it up, and just a gentle, gentle pull to stretch the tricep there. And then taking hold of your right wrist with your left hand, let's pull that arm across the back of your head. Okay. And then we'll reach up, stretch up, and we'll take it to the other side. So bending the left elbow, encouraging that hand down in between the shoulders. If the chin comes down, try and extend through the front of the body. And then taking hold of that left hand, pull that arm across the back of the head. And then relax, give the arms a little shake. Okay, so let's reach the arms wide. See if you can stretch either side of the room. If you find your shoulders are all hunched up, let's try and draw them down. Reaching a little bit wider, and then pointing your fingers upwards. We're going to push the palms of the hands as far away as we can, feeling that stretch in the arms, maybe waking up some muscles you don't normally feel around the elbows. And then we'll relax, bring the hands down, give the shoulders a rub. Okay, belt time. So, we're going to just double up the belt so that we can have it held in our fists with the palms facing down and the hands a little bit wider than your shoulders. And then doing your best to pull the arms away from each other. So, depending on the strength of your belt, trying to pull the belt apart by just arms moving away. Sitting tall, we're going to breathe in, lift the arms up. If your shoulders feel like they're hunching, let's drop them down. And then, as you breathe out, just see if you can take the arms back overhead. You feel a big stretch on the inside of your shoulders. No need to force anything. As you breathe in, let's just bring the arms back up. And as you breathe out, take them back a bit further. Again, not forcing, just noticing where you can stretch. And I always say this, but it's one of those things where I don't know if I hate it or I like it, but it's definitely doing something. If you think you can go a bit further, you can. Don't feel that you have to take your arms really far back like this. We're just working to where we are today. And then bring your arms up, and then just let them have a rest, because they probably feel quite tiring. Okay, next thing. Arms lifted up, stretching towards the ceiling, and we're going to set one arm against the other. So, left arm is going to want to reach towards the ceiling, but the right arm has had enough of it, it wants to come down here. So, the right arm's pulling down, the left arm is reaching up. We're looking up to the left hand, maybe feeling a stretch at the left side of your torso. If your elbow is bending, let's stretch into the length of the arm. And then we'll come back up to the centre, and this time right arm wants to reach up, left arm wants to come down. So we're going to keep our eyes on the right arm so it reaches a little bit higher, pulling down with this belt. So the two arms are working against each other, and then we'll lift the arms up and bring the belt down, give your arms a moment to rest. And then bring your hands a little bit closer, fists at shoulder distance. Again, trying to pull the belt apart. We're going to lift the arms up, reach up a little bit higher. As we breathe out, we're going to bend at the elbows, still pulling strong. You might feel your arms start to shake, and trying to bring the belt down behind the back of your head. And then we'll lift up, still pulling really strong, bringing the arms straight. And then, because it's so much fun, we'll do it a second time. Bend the elbows, bring the hands back down, and then lift up, and then bring the arms down. Okay, let's give the arms a little shake out. Roll the shoulders. We can chuck that to the side. We may not need it again. Well, we've got one more thing that you might want it for. Okay, so let's take the arms out to the side. Point the thumbs down, the palms back, and see if we can interlock the fingers behind the back and stretch the arms back, keeping the chest lifted. You might want to lift your arms a little bit higher. And then as we breathe out, we're going to take the nose forwards and see if we can tilt forwards and lift the arms up, stretching into the upper arms, the front of the upper arms. And then we're going to lift the arms as we lift the whole of the body. Okay, let's bend at the elbows and try and bring the right hands round the side of the body. Doesn't matter if you can bring them round, we're just trying, and you'll feel a stretch down the front of the shoulder here. And then we're going to reach back with the arms and try and bring them round the other side, so feel the stretch in front of that other shoulder. And then release, give the arms a shake, give your shoulders a roll. Okay, so let's lift the arms up, palms upwards, and we're going to bring the right arm into the centre line of the body, left arm on top and crossing at the elbows. The arm that's underneath, we're going to bend the elbow, turn the palm 180 degrees and try and bring our palms together. So, if you miss that, arms up, right arm into the centre, left arm on top, so this elbow sat in the crook of the other one. We're going to bend the right arm, turn the palm, and bring the hands towards each other, wriggling towards each other as best we can. The thing here is to cross over at the elbows if you can. And then as you take a breath in, lifting your elbows up. And as you breathe out, dropping them down. Again, breathing in, lifting up, letting those shoulder blades broaden. And then relaxing, releasing. Just giving your arms a shake, okay? Arms up again. This time the left arm into the centre, right arm on top, crossing at the elbows as best you can, bending the left arm, palm turned 180 degrees, and then bringing your fingers and palms together on this side. And as we breathe in, lifting them up. As we breathe out, dropping them down. And again, breathing in, lifting up, relaxing in the out breath. Okay, let's give the arms a shake. So, saving the best till last. We're going to stretch out with the right arm, thumb pointing down, and then bending at the elbow and doing your best to bring that hand up in between your shoulder blades. Having a bit of a wriggle there. And then, with your other hand, stretching up, bending at the elbow and seeing if you can interlock your fingers behind your back. And if you can, well, fantastic. If you can't, it doesn't matter. If you've got your chin down towards your chest, lift the head up. Now, when I said it doesn't matter, it doesn't because we can use our belts. So, we'll have one arm behind the back, the other arm lifting up the belt, dropping it behind the back, gripping hold of the belt, and as you breathe in, see if you can open up the front of the body, and as you breathe out, creeping the fingers a little bit further down the belt. Okay, so let's release on this side and take it onto the other side. Left arm out, thumb pointing down, bending at the elbow, and as you shuffle that hand up in between your shoulder blades, noticing if it feels any different on this side. Right arm up, elbow bent, fingers brought towards each other, and if you find your chin's brought down, let's sit up tall. And for a few breaths here, trying to bring your fingers closer and closer towards each other. Okay, and then let's release, give the arms a shake. Okay, so now we're going to stretch out the backs of the legs, so we're getting really into it now. With your heels underneath your hips, let's just spread the toes, and then with your hands on your hips, standing tall. We're going to take a breath in, lift the arms up, and as we breathe out, just take a forward fold, trying to bring your palms onto the floor. Now the first time you do it, your palms don't come onto the floor, that's fine. But let's bend the knees as much as we need so the palms can come down, and then just let the head relax, hanging down. And then to stretch into the backs of the legs gently, we're going to breathe in and just lift the hips towards the ceiling, stretching into the backs of your legs. You can have your fingertips on the floor if that helps, or you can bring your hands onto your shins or just above your knees and just push into the legs and lifting the chest. What we want to avoid really is having the hands dangling in the air, because you'll put more strain on your lower back and the backs of your legs. So, palms on the floor. We'll lift the hips as we breathe in, fingertips on the floor, hands on the shins, and as we breathe out, we'll bring the palms back down, bend the knees deeply, and sweep our arms up, standing tall, looking up, and bringing your arms down by the sides, rolling the shoulders. Okay, let's lift the arms up again, feel like we're stretching along through the sides of the body, and forwards as we breathe out. Knees bent if you need to, bring your palms onto the floor, head dangling down, lifting your hips, stretching to the backs of the knees as you breathe in, pushing into your fingertips, lifting your chest. As you breathe out, bringing your palms back to the floor, knees to bend if you need to, and standing up tall. Again, stretching along through the sides, bring the arms down, shoulders roll. Let's take that again, breathing in, stretching towards the ceiling. Forward forwards as we breathe out, palms down, knees bent if you need to, and then stretching into the backs of the legs, keeping some support through your hands with those fingertips on the floor, palms on the floor, hands on the shins, but not dangling. Okay, hands down, we'll lift the arms up, stand tall, and then bring our arms down to the sides. Okay, taking your feet pretty wide, feet parallel, hands resting on your thighs. We're going to take the right arm up and stretch it towards the ceiling, keeping your eyes on that hand. Let's reach a little bit higher, and then still looking up. As you breathe out, let's reach towards the ceiling with the right hand, creep the left hand down the left leg. As much distance as you can get between these hands, this one reaching up, this one reaching down, and then when you've gone as far as you think you're going to go, next breath out, let's stretch that right arm over towards the left side. Not letting the arm come down, more like you're stretching towards the ceiling and warming. And then we'll breathe in, lift up, and bring that arm
down. Okay, so hopefully you've got a big stretch down there as well as in the legs. Let's lift up the left arm, stretch up. As we breathe out, creep the right fingers down the right leg. Still looking up to the left hand, still stretching higher and higher and higher. And then, without resting your way through this hand, let's stretch the left arm over towards the left side. Sorry, left arm towards the right side. Fingers stretch down the sides. And then we'll lift up as we breathe in. Bring those arms down. As we breathe out, give your shoulders a little roll. Okay. And then we're going to go for a bit more of a stretch into the backs of the legs. And we just get a prop. I want you to imagine this isn't a water bottle. It's either a very substantial book or a yoga block. With your feet pretty wide, toes pointing inwards, we're going to go for a standing forward fold from the hips here. So this is quite strong in the backs of the legs. Take it easy, just going as far as you want. Toes pointing ever so slightly inwards so we can avoid any kind of slipping through the feet. And then before we get into it, feeling like you're pushing from the hips out into your heels, so your legs are strong. Not to the point where you're locking your knees and pushing back, the more you're pushing outwards. And then with your hands on your hips, we'll lift the shoulders to the ears, pinch the shoulder blades together as we breathe out. Try and bump our noses on the wall in front of us. Feel the stretch in the backs of the legs. When you think your back may be parallel to the floor, you can look down. You'll be feeling on the backs of the legs here, maybe the insides of the legs. If you think you're okay to take your fingertips to the floor, then you can do so. If not, taking your yoga block or substantial book, bringing the floor to you, resting your hands there. After a few breaths, well, working with your breath, you can push away from the floor as you breathe in. As you breathe out, you're giving your legs time to consider letting you in. So you might be able to bring your palms to the floor and just moving around to find where the legs want to let you in. And going at your own pace, if your palms are on the floor and you've got some steady support, you might want to take your feet a little further apart. We're not in any kind of hurry here, so no need to rush. And your legs will let you know when they've had enough. So rather than trying to beat your legs, let's just be working with them. If you think you want to go further, you can do things like maybe bringing your forearms onto the floor, or you can turn your fingers outwards and then keep turning and walk your hands back towards the line between your heels, maybe even beyond it, but just going to your level. Now, some people think it's a good laugh to have the head turned to the floor. That's their idea of enjoyment. So if that's you, you can do it. But not pushing yourself beyond your point. If your head is on the floor, you can maybe lift your arms up and stretch towards the ceiling. But if your head isn't on the floor, please don't do this overhead arms thing. It's just if you've got support through the head. If your palms are on the floor, then just stick to that level. You might find that as you breathe in, you want to lift the body away a little bit, stretch forwards through the chest, and as you breathe out, just melt a little bit further forwards. And then to come out of it, we'll make sure the hands are under the shoulders. Bring the feet back to where they were when we started. Bring the hands onto the hips and then slowly lifting up. And then you're probably going to want to release your knees, so we'll bring the feet in if the knees are left. Okay, and then let's come down onto the floor. Lying on your back. You're going to stretch the front of the body a little bit. So, working with bridge pose, great stretch at the front of the body. So, bringing your heels as close to the buttocks as you can, and trying to have a little bit of space between your feet so your heels are lined up with your knees, and your knees are lined up with the middle of your hip joints. Letting the back of the body feel broad against the floor, so don't be shifting your shoulder blades apart for that. And then your arms by your sides, palms down, creeping your fingers towards your toes. And then pressing down gently, but firmly through your palms and through your feet. We'll take a breath in, tilt the hips, and then keep lifting them up towards the ceiling, peeling the spine off the floor. And as we breathe out, we'll roll the spine back down and let the hips touch down. And just working at the pace that your breath says. So lifting your hips up, letting each individual vertebra come off the floor. As we breathe out, rolling back down. And going at your level, going to your place of, well, where you feel comfortable with it. So no need to strain anything. Maybe as you breathe in and out, see if you can lift a little bit more of the spine away from the mat. Maybe notice Noticing the stretch on the front of the body, tone the front of the body from the knees up to your ribs. If it feels tight in your lower back, you can also maybe take your feet a little bit wider. If you find your knees moving outwards and inwards in space as you lift and lower, then again you might want to just change the distance between your feet. Hips lifting up as we breathe in. Hips rolling back down as we breathe out. And then the next time we do it, we'll lift the hips up. You might want to shuffle onto your upper arms, interlock your fingers behind the back, and press down through your arms as you lift your hips a bit higher. And then rolling back down as you breathe out. Bringing your knees in, lifting your nose towards your knees, and rocking one side to the other. Okay, then let's come up to sit upright. Take the feet out in front of us. Draw the buttocks back, so we're sat on the backs of our thigh bones. And then we're going to work with some forward fold, which is just the best stretch for the whole of the back of the body. So, fingertips pushing into the floor. We're trying to hinge from the hips here. So if you find yourself rounding in the upper back, let's try to open up and lengthen the front of the body. So, fingertips pushing into the floor. We'll lift the shoulders to the ears and take them back and take them down. And then keeping that lift, resting the hands on the thighs. See if we can push downwards into the floor a little more firmly through the backs of the legs to lift tall through the crown. Looking at your toes, let's point them forwards and then draw them backwards and then relax. And then lifting your arms up, looking at your fingertips, and as you breathe out, following your fingertips as if you're trying to touch that wall in front of you, keeping your gaze lifted. If you find yourself looking down, let's look up. And as you breathe in, well, we're just going to back off a little bit. And as you breathe out, see if you can reach a little bit further forwards. And as you breathe in, backing off a little bit more. And working in this way to go easy on the out breath. Just roll back a little on the in breath. And then we'll bring the hands down onto the shins, ankles, feet, whatever you've got hold of. Holding on firmly so your hands don't move back. We'll breathe in, see if you can lift the head, lift the chest, wriggle the ribs away from the hips. And then trying to take your nose towards your toes, maybe taking your fingers a little bit further down your legs. But again, if you find your head rolling down, let's see if you can lift up as we breathe in, taking the nose forwards as we breathe out, and go a bit further. Now, if you've decided you're not going any further forwards, you can let the chin drop to the chest, let the head drop down towards your legs. Just take a moment to feel where you can feel it. Where it's tight, you can maybe back off, lift your body away from the legs, or just maybe breathe out and let the tightness relax. If you want to, you can point your toes forwards to take it easier. If you want something a bit more challenging, you can draw your toes back. For those of you who've got your hands on your feet, you might want to interlock your fingers around the soles of your feet, and then concentrate on bending the elbows as you breathe out so you can bring yourself closer down to your legs. Having a few breaths there. The important thing, no need to force. If the body's going to let you in, it's going to let you in. So we'll just back off if we need to. Go deeper if we want. And then let's breathe in. Lift the arms up, stretch up, have a wriggle through the sides. Then interlocking your fingers, apart from your forefingers which are pointing upwards, or stretch up a little bit higher. And as we breathe out, keeping your eyes on your hands, tilting forwards, forwards, forwards. Bringing your hands around to the feet or onto your shins or wherever you can reach, and then letting yourself surrender into that stretch. Big deep breaths in and out. And then let's lift up and bring the hands down, give the shoulders a roll. Okay, we're going to bend the right knee, bring that foot across the left leg, sit up as tall as we can. Right hand behind the back, left arm stretching up. We're going to bend that elbow and hook it around the right knee. Sitting tall as we breathe in and then twisting round to the right as we breathe out. Trying to let your shoulders drop from your ears. If you think you can breathe in just a little bit taller, you can. And turn a little bit deeper as you breathe out. And then we'll turn to face forwards. Do that on the other side. Bring the left knee in. Foot across the leg, sitting tall. Left hand behind the back, right arm lifted up, bending at the elbow and hooking it around and turning to your left. And if you need to just arrange your seated position to sit tall, that's fine. Turning
the left shoulder back, looking over it. And then we'll turn to face forwards. Take the feet out in front. Give it a shake. And then we're going to bring that right knee in again. Drop it as best we can out to the side, heel towards the groin, and just arranging yourself to look down the left leg. We'll breathe in, lift up. Breathing out, reaching forwards. Easing off as we breathe in. Reaching a bit further forwards as we breathe out. Maybe have a wriggle through the sides. Breathing in, and then bringing the hands down to the leg, or to the foot, or whatever. Take a breath in, and then take the nose towards the toes. Fingers want to go a bit further forwards, they can do. Now when you've got hold of this leg, you can let the head drop down, and then just maybe experiment with the foot. So you can point your toes forwards, and draw your toes back, and notice where you're feeling the stretch. Maybe rotating at the ankle is your thing, one way or the other. Okay, and you can always breathe in, look up. Breathing out, move a little bit further forwards, and then drop down towards that leg. And then we'll look up, lift the arms up, bring the hands down, change legs round, bring the left knee in, drop it out to the side, look down the right leg, sit tall, breathe in, and reach forwards as we breathe out. Draw back a little bit on the in-breath, reach a bit further forwards on the out-breath, and then bringing your hands to the shin, ankle, foot, wherever. Lifting tall on the in-breath. Nose moving forwards on the out-breath. Again, head dropping down towards the leg. Flexing at the ankle, bringing the toes back, taking them forwards. Rotating the ankle if that's for you in both directions. And then just for a couple of breaths, letting the weight of your body just surrender down towards that leg. And then we'll look up. Lift up, hands up, and bring the hands down. Let's give those legs a bit of shake. Okay, so saving pretty much the best till last. Let's bring the right knee in to the side. And we're going to look down the left leg. So, what I'd like to do is turn the whole body to look out over your bent right knee. Doing your best to reach down towards your left big toe, or you can grab onto whatever you're wearing, or you can grab onto your shin. And then we're going to reach up with the right arm, stretch up as high as we can, bending the elbow, resting that hand on the side of the head. And then, well, right now you can probably see your elbow. What we're going to do is take a breath in and take the elbow back until you can't see it anymore. And you'll feel a stretch down this side of the body, so that's what we're looking for. Elbow out of vision. Breathe in, so it's a little bit taller. As we breathe out, we're going to start to pull ourselves down towards that outstretched leg. And as soon as that elbow comes into view, we're going to pause, take a breath in, take the elbow back until we can't see it, breathing out, pull ourselves in a bit further, and just going at your pace. So when that elbow comes into view, breathing in, if you need to ease off here, you can. Breathing out, going a bit deeper. Some of you might be able to bring that elbow down to the inside of the leg, but it doesn't matter where you get to, we're just working with our bodies as they are. If you want to, you can stretch up this top arm, maybe bring that hand overhead and connect here. But if doing that makes you turn the body towards the floor, let's see if we can open up the ribs towards the ceiling. And if the fingers aren't meeting, and today for me, I don't think they're going to be working that well, we're just going to have that stretch up the side. And then we'll breathe in, stretch up, and then we'll just take the feet out in front, using the shake. Take it to the other side. So left knee in, knee drops out to the side, we'll look down the right leg. Turn to look over the left knee. Take hold of the big toe or the ankle or whatever you can reach. Up with the left arm, bending the elbow, taking the elbow back to open up the left side of the body. As we breathe out, bringing ourselves down towards that right leg. And when the elbow pokes into view, breathing in, easing off, taking it back. Breathing out, going a bit deeper, and again, when the elbows into view, we stretch the side of the body by taking the elbow back. And working your way into that stretch. Nice and steady, no need to rush. If you want to, lifting up that left arm and bringing it overhead. But turning it also, so we're looking up towards the ceiling with the left ribs. And then lift up. And then take the feet out in front of us. The soles of the feet on the floor will drop the knees to the right, to the left, right, to the left, and then roll
hand will rock side to side. And then just to finish this off in as dignified a manner as possible, we're going to turn the soles of the feet up, hold onto the outside edges of the feet, and pull the knees down in towards the armpits and have a rock and roll on the back of the body in happy baby pose. Massage the body wherever it feels like it needs it. Feet to the floor again, dropping the knees to the right and to the left, and to the right and to the left. And then just bring yourself into a comfortable reclining corpse position. We'll spend a minute or two letting the body absorb the benefit of what you've done. And go around the body tensing and releasing different muscle groups. So firstly, let's take a big breath in and big breath out. And then taking your attention to your toes, let's scrunch them up. Lift the heels an inch off the floor and tense your legs and hold, and relax. Big breath in, big breath out. Again, scrunching the toes, lifting the heels, clenching the legs, and dropping. Big breath in, big breath out. And then clenching the buttock muscles, squeezing tight, holding, and releasing. Big breath in, big breath out. Again, clenching the buttock muscles, holding, releasing. Big breath in, big breath out. And then pressing the lower back firmly into the floor, just feeling the rest of the body move in response, especially the hips tilting, and then relaxing. Big breath in, big breath out. Again, press the lower back into the floor, hold, and release. Big breath in, big breath out. And then trying to lift the chest away from the floor. Hurry up, couple of breaths. Relaxing, deep breath in, deep breath out. And again, chest lifted away from the floor, and release. Big breath in, big breath out. And then clenching the hands into fists, tensing the arms, hunching the shoulders up to the ears, holding, and on the drop. Breathing in, and out. Once again, clenching, tightening, hunching the shoulders, and relaxing. Big breath in, big breath out. And then best scrunched up ugly faces please, squeezing. And relaxing. Big breath in, big breath out. And then once again, like you're chewing down on a bunch of chewing down some lemons, squeezing that face. And relaxing. Big breath in, big breath out. And then as a grand finale, you do all of that. So clenching the legs, heels lifted, squeeze the buttocks, lower back pressed down, chest lifted, arms lifted, face scrunched up. And relaxing. Okay. And then let's bring the feet together, arms into your sides. We'll lift the arms up, stretching back into the fingertips, heels pushing forwards. As we breathe out, bring your knees in, little rock from one side to the other, and then onto your right side, up to a comfy seated position. And just make sure you're sat up tall. We'll take a breath in, stretch up, reach up through the sides, take one more forward as we breathe out. Arms lifted up,